Welcome into a special edition of the Oglethorpe Outlook. The Oglethorpe Stormy Petrels are on the eve of their NCAA tournament match out in Colorado. We're going to check in with the team from the hotel, and we're going to start with head coach Jon Akin. Jon, how has this trip been to get the guys out to Colorado to get ready for the NCAA tournament?
It's been wild in preparation. You know, there was a hiccup with the link from the NCAA or their communication, so we got travel information a day later than everybody else. Selection show normally about 1 o'clock, and then everybody knows, the details of travel options about 3 o'clock. Well, we didn't get it until we contacted them at 10 a.m. the next day, despite reaching out. So that was a kind of a crazy scurry to get together. But you know what? We're all here. Great setup with a beautiful hotel here, beautiful landscape. We did just kind of a kick around yesterday, a light training session. We get our formal training session. We were on their field hockey field, and then which surface is a little different. And we're going to be on the main field today, 11:30 to 1 out here. And great setup, beautiful weather. They had a snowstorm of about 2 feet of snow 2 weeks ago, and the residue from that is still out and about. But we can't complain. We're very lucky with the weather we have out here.
I want to talk to, I think, just the journey of getting to this point, because very beginning of the season, it was a bit of a stop and start for you guys. You finally got things going, and then we get to the SAA championship. We haven't really spoken since that. What was the emotions walking through, going up to Rhodes, playing the SAA tournament up there?
Well, I think, personally, we had a tall ask of getting so many new, very good players together on the same page. That was the challenge early. We'd have, some of the best soccer we'd have for 45 minutes and then a drop, or, a great matchup and somebody's goalkeeper stands on their head and we come out with a draw. So trying to find out, the standard and really, getting everybody on the same page to that standard has been a journey. But it came off despite us squandering a chance to lock up the hosting at the Barry game. We took our chances after that and learned from our mistakes and really competed at a high level in the conference tournament away from home.
How challenging has it been to try to harness that consistency with such a talented group?
It's been a challenge. We've had our ups and downs. Somebody's hot, somebody's struggling, somebody has been doing it this way and getting everybody on the same page. But I'd rather have a really talented group with a high ceiling and face that challenge than, not having a high ceiling and trying to squeeze more out of an orange, more juice out of an orange than they have.
In that Rhodes game, in that championship game, y'all went to overtime twice.
Yep.
I mean, how do you prepare a team going into an overtime situation? Because it's a little bit different, especially when you're playing in regulation. You want it to be done, and now you have to continue on for another couple minutes.
Yeah, I think the challenge was, continuing to stick with our game plan and just play the way we play. And what the philosophy proved to be correct. Sometimes you can come out on the wrong side of it, but we just wore Rhodes down. I thought Rhodes played their best game that they could have and had some massive blocks, and we were doing all the right things in the right spots, but they just kind of kept coming up with it. But we just kept staying committed to what we did. And at the end of the day, our philosophy won out.
Having to deal with overtime in the conference tournament, dealing with adversity, you guys have kind of went from favorites to underdogs in a way. How has the group kind of embraced being that fighting kind of team that they've had to be here lately?
Yeah, I think, nobody likes to fight that hard, right? Because we know we could, if we play our highest ceiling, it's irrelevant, right? But when you put our ceiling with fight and desire and work ethic, watch out. And I think that's where we're at right now.
Looking at this next matchup for you guys, going up against Claremont again up here. It's a small history between you guys. What is one thing that you remember from that last matchup, seeing them and then looking at this matchup ahead on Saturday? what are some things that stick out for you that you guys need to do in order to secure a win?
We've watched them on film and broken down film, and they remind me of Emory a lot. They're big, they're very strong. I think 8 of their guys in our lineup are over 6'2", heavy. It's going to be, can we not give anything away and play the way we play, and and stick to it. I mean, it's a tournament game, right? Anything can happen, but I like how we're feeling right now. I like what we're capable of and what we've learned from the conference tournament. And if we apply that, that's, I like our chances.
Is there anything from past trips to the NCAA tournament that has stuck with you that you've carried forward to this year's group?
No, I mean, every team, even we do have, quite a few returners. Every group has its own DNA. And I'm trying to, and I have left what's in the past, and just try to apply what we as a collective group have learned about ourselves over this season. We do have guys with some experience. I think we came up, against a really good side and had a couple unfortunate events that turned the tide, negatively for our result in the first round last year against Colorado College. But this is a new group. They have a new attitude, a new focus, and if they focus on what they've learned, that's what we want to apply to tomorrow's game.
I feel like that's kind of been the message of this season for you guys. You start really well, a couple injuries kind of make things that have to readjust, a couple more things kind of switching around. You then kind of going from being the top dogs to then kind of going to the underdogs. What does it say about the resilience of this squad heading into this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, these guys know that they're capable of anything, and I don't think a change in a lineup or somebody feeling under the weather, somebody being a little tired changes anything. Because if we do what we need to do, we know we can overcome any situation.
We'll end with this with you. Is there, you can narrow it down to one thing that if you guys do it well tomorrow and hopefully on Sunday, you're advancing into the Sweet 16 for the first time in a long time. What's that one thing that you guys have to do well?
Quality in the final third. I think if we have well-timed runs, quality deliveries, and well-timed runs and finishes, because as well as we played against Rhodes, I still think we have an extra gear. And if we do that, watch out.
Welcome back into Oglethorpe Outlook here on the SDH Network. I'm Madison Crews. He's Jason Longshore, and we are joined with one of the captains for Oglethorpe, and it is Ben Alram. Ben, a little cold up there, just a little bit. Not as cold, I think, as it has been in the past, but, still a little cold.
Yeah, a little bit cold. With the time change as well, that's pretty hard. We change the time probably 2 or 3 times in 2 weeks. The weather pretty cold, but I feel it's a good thing to change something like that. I already played inside the weather like that, but we was more habitude with the weather in Arena. But the most important thing here, the altitude, I feel it's pretty hard to run and everything. But that's why I'm very happy to be here a couple of days before the game. To be good with that, and I think we'll be fine. Yeah.
Having to go through what you guys did in the SAA tournament, going on the road and having to grind out some wins, do you think that helps the team in this format, in this tournament, with adversity, with conditions, with altitude, with all those different things? Having gone through it, does it make the team stronger?
Yeah, for sure. Especially from the last game that we played against Rhodes, that was literally a war fight that we won. And I feel the boys was after this game very, very motivated for the couple of the games that we have to play. It's a new season, for sure. It's a new season. Every game now is a final, and like we were seeing on the field and off the field, we want to keep going to play together, to keep going to create the history for the program and for the university, So the last game, against Rhodes was like a good thing that happened like that, because like we saw that we never give up, you know, as well against Swanee, never give up, and we're not scared about like this new season, because we know we have like a lot of quality in the team, and I feel like at this part of the season is like just about the mentality. What you want to do, if you want to stop now, or if you don't want to stop, you know, and that's the most important thing when you play a game like that, you know.
We haven't spoken since you guys are now back-to-back SAA champions. What was the emotion after that final whistle blew and y'all knew that you guys were going to be doing it again in 2024?
That was special. That was special. Yeah, I mean, the final, when you win the final, is every time like good emotion, you know. Like all the pressure is going off your body, you know, like, and especially a back-to-back, first time in the program, I think. So at the end, like, I wasn't shocked because like we put all the hard work during the season. Last season we did the same thing. If you work hard on the field at practice, and if you respect soccer, like I'm saying every time, all those good things happen, you know. So at the end, I was in shock. Like maybe that wasn't the best season. We get like some injury, like some couple things happened during the season, but then like I was in shock, and for me that was normal. That was normal to be a champion again, because I mean my teammates are champion from last year, and when you champion, you keep going to be champion, you know. So yeah.
It feels like you guys have developed a really strong trust in one another over the injuries, the just different things this year, bad luck in front of goal, like whatever you want to call it. You know, there were high expectations, but having a harder road in a way feels like it's made the team stronger.
Yeah, for sure. Especially at the beginning of the season, we was thinking like, I mean, a couple new guys came. Like we was thinking like we will have the best team in the country. Like we was thinking first about a lot of things, but like, you know, like some event happened, and we didn't get the things that we want yet. I feel like with all the team. That's why like we speak a lot together to know what we need to do, you know. But that will happen because like I mean, you see at practice, like during the game, like we didn't show yet what we can do, if I can say that like that. And to go inside a national tournament with this feeling, I feel like it's a good thing, because now all the teams that we play, we don't know them, so we literally have to show the best of us, you know, during 90 minutes and maybe more, you know. So yeah, I think that's a good thing to go inside like that. Last year was different. We was playing as well different system, you know. But this year with the players that we have, like a new lot of good player, like good experience. Yeah, I feel like that's a good thing to be inside this position right now, to be inside this national tournament for the first game. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Oglethorpe Outlook Tournament Edition, getting ready for the NCAA Tournament out in Colorado. We're joined by one of the captains of the Stormy Petrels this year, Dylan Bapst. Dylan, it's been a wild ride from the beginning of the season when we talked to now. What have you guys learned about each other on this journey that prepares you for the NCAA Tournament?
That's a good question. I feel like we've learned a lot about each other. I feel like we had a really high expectation coming into this year, just, you know, based on last year, how we did, and how I kind of feel like we came up short in our first, in my first time being in the NCAA tournament against Colorado College last year. I feel like we were right there, and we had everything right there, and it was taken away from us. So it's just like having that expectation that, you know, we did belong there, and seeing how far Colorado went in the tournament last year, just for me, kind of just left it like, wow, like that could have been us. Like we could have been, you know, I think they went to the round of 16, Sweet 16 last year, or Elite 8 last year, which is, you know, like, I think we were just as good as them. I think that we could have been in the same position, you know, that we were. And I think that Coming into this season, that like the expectations were just as high as that. I think that we expected to, go to the national tournament. I think that we expected to win our conference and win our conference championship. And I think that we had a completely different path this year. I think that, we didn't win our conference but we won our conference championship. And I think the adversity that we went through and not just having every single thing go as planned for us was a good thing for our team. I think that, we had a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of new guys come in a new system and stuff. So I think that all of that has just played a big part in how like we've grown into who we are now. And I think that we're finally starting to find that form that, that we've been trying to find all year. I think that we haven't played really as best as we can play at all in any of the games all year until maybe I think the final. But that was more of just like, of a mentality at that point, just I want to outwork the other team. I mean, both teams were dead, so I don't think we were really able to showcase how talented we really are as a team. I think the game was just more about who wanted it more. So I think now that we've had some rest and going into this game that, we're going to show the country like what we're about. And I'm just really looking forward to it. Yeah.
You mentioned how different the path was from last season. As a captain, how did you help your team lift up in those moments where maybe what kind of felt like it wasn't going your way or it wasn't going the way you guys exactly thought it was going to?
I think that, for me, this is like the first year. Like last year, I wouldn't say I was really a captain. Like this year's, like I feel like I was kind of pushed to become a leader for the team, not by choice really, but just kind of happened, and I just kind of embraced it, and it's something that I feel like is important for our team. And especially important for me, just to want to push the guys and hold the guys accountable to the standard that I think that we're able to have. I feel like for me, helping the team, I feel like we just had to take every single day, day by day. I feel like we were kind of thinking way too far into the future, thinking about we're going to do this, this, and this, and like we hadn't even started our season or even started, playing games. And I think that we just had a rough start to the season. I think we had like 4 ties in a row, 5 ties in a row, which is just like you see that and just how the team like responds to that. It wasn't like in a negative way, but also wasn't really in a positive way. I think it was like what's going on, like we're talking about doing this, this, and this, and we have the ability to do that, but like it's not happening. And I think that just being able to talk to the guys and just like focus on every single game, like game by game, instead of thinking so far into the future, I think helped us just focus on our main goal, which is basically, winning our conference and then just getting a chance to go to the tournament. And I think that has helped us basically get prepared for the tournament.
I feel like this might be one of the strongest defensive teams that I've seen at Oglethorpe. So many times in the past, it felt like the defense would be good because you'd have so much of the ball and you weren't tested as much. This team's been tested. And just talk about the group that you've played with along that back line with Stephen, with Daniel, with Casey, Ben at times when you go to a line of 5.
Yeah.
How have you guys come together to be so solid defensively?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like a progression thing. I think it's a new back line. Me and Conte are pretty much the only returning guys in the back line. Like the other guys were grad students last year, and like last year we came off an amazing year. I think we set the school record for the most shutouts in a year. And just thinking I think that personally we had better guys coming into that role to fill those spots. I think so. The expectations were really set high for us to do the same thing like that. But I think it just took a while for us to kind of mesh together and become like just a bunch of brothers in the back that we just kind of set us 5 or just like, if we win the game defensively and we don't let their guys score, I think that we give our offense, I think our offenses could be the best offense in the country. I think that if we give them the opportunity to go do that stuff, and a lot of teams don't really do that, I feel like it's hard to find a back 5 that is all on the same page and all works together and defends together and understands each other very well. And I think that took a long time for us to kind of get to each other, just because there's a lot of new guys coming in and finding like their tendencies and how they play and what they want and getting on the same page. And I think that just going through all that has been a ride for sure, but it's been a great ride. And I think that, to be honest, I think that this is the best this is the best defense that I think that I've seen in the country. I think if we're all playing together and, on the same page and working together as a team, for sure.
And I can't leave AJ out of that as well. What
Yeah,
has he brought to the group?
He's been awesome. I mean, especially like coming off from last year, we had Nico, who was a fantastic keeper, and he's coming into a new team trying to find himself, and I think he's done an amazing job. I think he's added a lot of a different aspect to the team. I think he's very technical with the ball. I think he can literally ping a ball from 30, 40 yards out on a rope to our strikers' feet, and that's something that I don't think we lacked last year, but it's something that it's one of his strong suits, I would say, for sure. And I think that brings a lot to the table for us, as well as he's a very vocal goalkeeper, and he makes us feel safe. I don't have a doubt in my mind, like when the ball's in the air, that he's going to come out and get it. And I think that as a back line, that's something that's really important, to have a connection with your keeper like that, and feeling like, he's got your back versus, I don't know if he's going to come out and get this. I don't know if he's going to come do this or do that. Like the trust is there between the back five and the keeper. And I think that that's something that's really, really important.
Looking at Claremont, what are some things that they do well? And what are you guys going to do to try and silence them and come out on top tomorrow?
I think they're very, 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 very good going forward. I think they have 3 or 4 guys that are I think 3 guys that are double digits goals and pretty high in assists. So I think for us, it's just eliminating those guys. I think that it's kind of a numbers game coming down to it. I think that, they're very good offensive going forward compared to their defense. And I think that our defense and our offense is I think both of our offense and defense is equal. I don't think that our offense is better than our defense. I think both of them are very, very high. I think that as long as our back line shuts down their offense, it's let our forwards just go at them. I think that it's going to be a really difficult game for them, as long as our back line shuts them down. And for me, I'm a person that thinks that defense wins games. So I think as long as our defense does its job, that we just leave the rest of the job for our strikers to handle and let them score the goals, and we should be good.
Welcome back to the Oglethorpe Outlook Tournament Edition. Getting ready for the first round of the NCAA Tournament against Claremont Mudd-Scripps. The Stormy Petrels are out in Colorado, and we're talking to Stephen Johnson-Fikula, one of the top center backs in the region. How are you, Stephen?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Good. I want to ask you, because you've got a ton of experience at a variety of different levels. When you get to this stage and it's a knockout game and it's a tournament game or a playoff game or a cup game, what changes in your mind in a game like this versus a game in the middle of the regular season?
When you get to this stage of the season, tournament play, like you said, it becomes not so much more about talent. It's more who wants it, because you don't know what can happen in tournament play. We've seen upsets in the past, and we're going to continue to see upsets in the future. So going into games like this, it's about how much you want it. You step across that white line, your opponent wants it just as bad as you want it, but there needs to be a slight difference for something to get you over the edge. That's going to make you want it more than they want it. So system, everything, all that stuff, yes, it plays a factor, but at the end of the day, the mental game about who wants it more, that's the thing that sets you apart from everybody else when it comes to tournament play, because you just don't know what can happen. One goal, one chance, one opportunity can make that difference. So, yeah, you need to want it more than your opponent going into this type of period in the season.
Back-to-back SAA champions. It's your first season with them. You guys got the 2024. What was that like, getting to celebrate with everyone and getting that trophy, especially in your first season?
That was incredible, especially for me. During my collegiate career, I've not necessarily had the opportunity to win a conference and go into the national tournament. So that was a special moment for me. The boys, like you said, the boys won it last year, and they knew what it took to win it again this year. So throughout the whole season, they were helping me to understand and to learn what it is I have to do in order to help the team to reach that goal. So when the final whistle blew and we were crowned champions of the conference, the feeling was surreal. It's things that you really can't put into words. it's just one of those things that you have to experience and you have to feel to really know like how much it means. So that was one of the best moments in my entire soccer career. It was incredible.
I'd love to get your perspective on the disappointment against Barry in the last game of the regular season, where you could have had the cleaner route in the conference tournament, to then prepare to go to Memphis and play at Rhodes and have to get through a semifinal and a final on the road. What changed in your mind, or did anything change after the Barry game going into the conference tournament?
I think going into the Barry game, we knew what was at stake. And one thing with our team is we know how talented we are. So going into the Barry game, we relied way too much on our talent and not so much worked as hard as we could have worked. So that's one of the things that let us down, is that we didn't do, for me personally, I don't feel like we did as much as we could have done. But at the end of the day, like, it happened, So going into the conference tournament, we knew that we couldn't have a repeat of that. We knew that if we lose this game, then the season is done. And with the boys, we don't want the season to finish because we enjoy playing with each other so much. And for some of us, this could be the last time we play with each other. So in a tournament play, we knew we can't have an off day. We can't have a bad start. We have to show these guys just how much you want it, just how much we want it. So we knew that every single second of the game matters. There's the chance that there may not be another go at this. And one of the worst things in life, especially for me, is asking yourself the question of what if? What if it's a question that could haunt you forever, And we don't want to ask ourselves the question of what if we would have worked harder in this game? What could have come from it? So we all agreed, let's just leave it all out in the field. If we get the result, we get the result. If not, then we can walk away from this knowing that we gave it everything. So the mentality of just hard work throughout the whole game was the difference from the Barry game going into the conference tournament game.
This team is so close and so connected. I think we've seen it all season long. You coming into it at the beginning of the season, how have you developed a lot of those relationships, especially from the beginning to the now, seeing them really prosper and then seeing the finishing product on the field?
So yeah, coming into the beginning, just how it would be with anybody, it takes a period of time to get to know your teammates, not just them as a personality, but their strengths and their weaknesses. There's the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. And that's exactly how it was with our team. We had a decent start, but it's not the start that we wanted. And as the season progressed, you saw we got better and better. So just learning about each other, that was one of the highlights for me throughout the whole season, because each personality on the team is different, So it's great that we had a decent period of time to begin to build this understanding and relationship. It was truly, it did take a bit of time to build that understanding, It did take a bit of time, but I feel like we're in a place now where we all know everything about each other. We know what makes the one person tick. We know what makes the other person tick. And we look to try and play to each other's strengths. And I think going into the national tournament, that's going to help us so much because, like I said, anything can happen, So if we have that understanding, that bond, that relationship with each other, that's one of the details that can get you over the line and help you to win a game. So we're truly blessed to be in a position where we know everything about each other. So that's something we're going to take into it, and then hopefully it plays to our benefit.
I feel like one of the big strong elements of this team is the back line that you're a big part of. But how have you and Dylan and Daniel and Casey and sometimes Ben playing as a wingback, how has all of that with AJ behind you, how has that come together as the season's gone on?
Yeah, no, it's been great playing with those boys. Like I've mentioned in the previous question, it takes a bit of time to begin to build that understanding and that relationship with players. So with us, I think because that back line, We are all a little bit older, you know. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all have some sort of a decent experience. So I think having that was a huge advantage for us, you know, because we understood each other quicker. I understood what was Daniel's strength. I understood what was Dylan's strengths quicker, just because I took a step back and I observed them for a little bit, and you know, you figure out what works well for them and what doesn't work well. So with us, we have our little group chat on the side, the defenders group chat, and we were talking there every so often and speak about what we need to brush up on, what we need to clean. You know, uh, we take real pride in defending, and we all love to defend. As much as we love to play, we all enjoy defending just as much. You know, so I think all of us having you know the matureness and like just the correct mindset really helped us in establishing this solid relationship that we have as a back line. But I think the age and the maturity really played a huge part in that too.
Yeah, you guys feel like really different personalities off the field, but you fit together seamlessly on the field.
Now we all have different personalities. Like, you know, Daniel is more of a quiet one. Dylan, you know, he's more of a takes care of business. I'm like your typical, you know, joker, class clown type of person. So it's all very, very different personalities. But once we all step on that field, we all have the same objective. We all know that at the end of the day, it's business, and we have to take care of business. You know, the way this team is gonna win is if we keep a clean sheet, we keep a shutout. So we all go into the game with this mindset. We know what the objective is, and we just go and execute the mission. So it's a great thing that we're all on the same page when it comes to that.
Okay, what's the group chat name? Can you share what the group chat name is?
Oh, I just called it. I'm the one that created it. I just called it OU Backline. You know,
I like it.
I wanted to think of something a little bit more outside the box, but it's one of those things that just got created on the spot, and it's the first thing that came to my mind.